my name is Kiye, and today we'll be fighting Horridon, the second boss in Throne of Thunder. Horridon is a somewhat complicated, multi-phase, multi-part fight, and you don't actually start fighting Horridon really until the very end of the fight. You'll start with Horridon alone in the center of the room, but after about 30 seconds, adds will start pouring out of the doors surrounding the room. Horridon's room has 6 doors. The door the raid entered from, the big door Horridon crashes through, and 4 doors while adds will spawn. Add doors always move in the same order. You start with the Faraki door, then Gurubashi, Drakari, and Amani. Door 1 is the Faraki door. 5 seconds after the door opens, the first set of adds spawn. Each door has different types of adds, but they follow a pattern. The first adds spawn 5 seconds after the door opens. These are the weakest and least important adds for this door. 20 seconds later, the same thing will spawn again. So add type 1 appear at 5 seconds, 25 seconds, 45 seconds, and so on. Get it? 20 seconds after the door opens, add type 2 will spawn. These are meaner and generally have nasty AoE. They are fairly important. 20 seconds later, or 40 seconds into the phase, 2 of these adds will spawn. It's important to kill the first of these spawns before the double group spawns. You can't have 3 at once because of their AoE abilities. For the Faraki door, the important add is called the Faraki Wastewalker. He'll drop sand traps on the floor. Sand traps slow you and do huge damage. Avoid all sand traps on the ground, which includes kiting the adds slowly towards the second door so the raid doesn't pile in the traps. 1 minute after the door opens, the Dinomancer will spawn. This is the highest priority add. The Dinomancer will attempt to heal Horridon with the spell Dino Mend. Always interrupt this. At 50%, he'll drop an orb on the ground and transform into a dinosaur. The orb drops right at his feet, so generally it's in melee. The orb must be clicked ASAP. Clicking the orb is what causes Horridon to charge the door, closing it and stopping more adds from spawning. After the door is destroyed, you have 40 seconds until the next door opens. Use this time to finish off any adds and do DPS to Horridon. Tanks should move Horridon towards the next door so you're ready for spawns. Let's talk Horridon himself. He's active the entire time and he can be a pain. He'll charge a random player. He's slow, so when you get the message he's charging you, move away as to take no damage. After the charge, he'll do a double swipe, doing a huge cleave from his head and his tail. Dust clouds are raised where the cleave is going to hit, so make sure to move out. Once the second door opens, the add cycle starts again. This is the Gurubashi door and is personally my least favorite. The first add is a Gurubashi Bloodlord. He spawns 5 seconds after the door opens and will charge a random player, putting a bleed on them. 20 seconds after the first spawn, you'll get a second Bloodlord. 20 seconds after the door opens, the first real baddie add will spawn. This is a Venom Priestess. She'll cast Venom Bolt Volley, which puts a nasty, stacking poison dot on the entire raid. This can and needs to be interrupted. She'll also place poison pools on the ground. These behave just like the sand traps. Avoid these pools and move melee mobs out of them. You need to kill the first Venom Priestess in 20 seconds before 2 more of them spawn. They suck and are nasty. Make sure to choose 1 priestess to focus down on the double spawn. 1 minute after the door opens, you'll get your Dinomancer. He's the same as the first Dinomancer. Interrupt Dino Mend, click the orb at 50%, and kill him. Through all of this, tanking the adds is a pain. Make sure to use misdirect and tricks to help your add tank out. Horridon himself is placing a stacking debuff on his tank. Tanks will need to swap in the downtime between add phases. Holding Horridon for an entire door phase will see the stack at about 6 or 7. This is okay, just make sure to swap once the add tank is free. Now you're on the third door, the Drakari door. The first adds are a set, a champion, and a warrior. These guys have little to no aggro table and stack a debuff on whomever they're hitting. If you get a pile of these adds up, use Army of the Dead and Stampede, anything to get lots of pets out. They can soak up the disease while the adds run around hitting cats and things. The big add spawns again after 20 seconds, and he is a Frozen Warlord. These guys use Immortal Strike on the tank and drop frozen orbs. Frozen orbs are stationary and look like a mage's frost orb. They deal massive damage to anyone standing near them, so again, kite the whole group away from the frozen orbs. Warlords need to die especially fast, as the Mortal Strike can build up, making your ad tank unhealable. 20 seconds after Warlord 1, you'll get 2 Warlords at once. Again, it's super important to kill Warlord 1 before you have 2 and 3. For any door, big ads like the Warlords cannot be stunned, but the small ads can. That really helps to control the disease debuff during this phase. Always switch to the Dinomancer and burn him down to finish off door number 3 and get to door number 4. The Amani door is tough. Make sure you aren't standing near orbs from door 3. The first ads to spawn are a Protector and a Flamecaster. The Flamecaster's chain casts Fireball. It can be interrupted and has to be to make the Flamecasters move, otherwise they stay put and chain cast that Fireball. This can be a pain, especially if they're stuck in Horridon's cleave zone. The biggie ads for this door are Warbears. Everyone loves Warbears. The Warbears cleave, so DPS and heals stay behind them. Once the bear dies, its Shaman Rider jumps off and becomes active. The Shamans cast a Chain Lightning that increases in damage as it jumps, so try to stay spread out. This should be interrupted if possible. They also cast Hex of Confusion. This curse gives its target the random chance to hurt themselves when using an ability. Always dispel. Lastly, the Shamans drop a Lightning Nova totem. It hurts a ton to anyone standing near it, so again, we're moving the entire group away from the Lightning totems. This is actually the phase we use Heroism on, because the Warbears and Shamans are a super big pain. Of course, you'll have your Dinomancer, who you need to interrupt, DPS, and Orb Click. 1 minute after the Amani door is broken, the final ad spawns. Ward God Jalak should be called a boss rather than an ad, but he's such a pansy, I see him as garbage. Anyways, Jalak will jump down from the stands and needs to be tanked with Horridon for sweet AoE. The only thing Jalak will do is cry. Bestial Cry. This deals damage to the raid and stacks a debuff that increases damage taken from the next Bestial Cry. Just burn him down. Horridon will still be charging and tail swiping, and he'll still stack his puncture on the tank. Tanks can swap right before Jalak spawns and right after to manage the puncture. Our Heroism was already blown before Jalak even spawned. Just use minor cooldowns and finish him. When Jalak dies, you'll finally be on Horridon. He's enraged though, so he'll deal double damage and attack twice as fast, but he'll also take increased damage. After each door, he took a stack of Cracked Shell, which increased his damage taken by 50% per stack. That's 200% increased damage by the end of the fight. Your tanks will take a lot of damage, and healing will be intense. Really, healing was intense this entire fight. Bring good healers. Bring good DPS as well, as the DPS requirement for 10-man is about 80k per person minimum. Finish Horridon, hug your healers, and try not to skin him before you get a screenshot. But who would do something like that? Thanks for watching my video. I know Horridon's kind of tough at first, but with practice you'll get him. My name is Kai, and as always, happy looting!